Nobody tells you that 50 is the age where your body needs a loading screen. Not after a hard workout. After a Tuesday, you get out of the car, take your first step, and your body needs about 10 seconds to remember how walking works. You bend down to put your shoes on, and something in your lower back quietly objects. You turn your head mid-conversation and realize the range just isn't what it used to be. Here's what nobody tells you. That's not aging. That's your body adapting to exactly the movement you've been giving it. Less range used, less range available. I'll keep this short. Your joints don't stiffen because you got older. They stiffen because you stopped asking them to move. That's a very different problem, and a much more solvable one. The good news? It works the other way too. And the laziest version of fixing it, 4 moves, at home, under 10 minutes. One of these 3 fixes a problem that most people don't even know they have, until their back starts complaining for them. You'll find out which one shortly. Here's what's actually happening. Your body is extraordinarily efficient. It never maintains what it doesn't need. Range of motion you stop using gets quietly filed away. Connective tissue tightens around the joint to protect a range it assumes you've abandoned. Think of it as your body Marie Kondoing your mobility. Didn't use it? Gone. The same logic works in reverse. Use the range, and the body starts maintaining it again. No equipment, no gym, no hour-long routine. Just movement that reminds your body what it's capable of. Which, as it turns out, is quite a lot more than it's been letting on. Sumo squat rock. You know that moment when you're putting your shoes on and bending forward just doesn't feel free anymore? That's your hips and groin telling you they haven't been asked to open up in a while. The groin and inner hip are the first things to go and the last things anyone stretches. Funny how that works. Most people stretch tight hips by crossing one leg over the other and leaning against a wall, feeling very zen, achieving very little. That's pulling at the muscle from the outside, like trying to open a door by pushing on the hinges. This goes straight to the joint. You're moving it through its full range under load. That's the signal the body actually responds to, not the pull, the movement. Stand with your feet wider than shoulder width, toes pointed out. Sink your hips back and down, like you're lowering yourself onto a low chair that isn't there. Elbows on your knees. From here, gently rock forward and back. Small movement. You're not forcing anything. You're reminding your hips what their full range feels like. After 10 to 15 seconds, place one elbow on the inside of your knee and press outward, just enough to feel the groin open. Hold for 15 to 20 seconds. Switch sides, 2 rounds total. Not there yet? Feet wider, or a folded towel under each heel. Once you can sink comfortably without your heels lifting, start adding a deeper hold at the bottom. If this feels easy on day 1, congratulations. You've been moving more than most. If it doesn't, also congratulations. Now you know exactly where to start. 2 weeks of this and putting your shoes on stops being an event. Next up, what to do with the rest of your body after 2 hours in a car. Standing hip flexor stretch. That moment when you step out of the car after a long drive and your first few steps feel like your hips forgot how to work. That's your hip flexors. They've been locked in a shortened position for hours, and they don't let go on their own. The hip flexor is the most chronically shortened muscle in anyone who sits for a living, which, after 50, is most people. It doesn't hurt until it does. Most people drop into a lunge on the floor for this. After 50, that's more effort than it's worth, and the floor isn't always an option. This version works just as well standing. Find a wall or chair for balance if you need it. Stand tall, shift one foot back, and lift the heel toward your glutes. Keep both knees close together, back knee pointing straight down toward the floor. Now gently tuck your pelvis forward. You'll feel the front of the hip on the back leg open up. That's exactly where you want it. This is not a glamorous exercise, but neither is shuffling out of a parking lot like you forgot how legs work. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Switch sides, 2 rounds. You can do this right next to your car. Door still open, keys in hand. Anyone who looks at you funny clearly hasn't tried getting out of a vehicle after 3 hours on the highway. Not feeling much? Tuck the pelvis a little more and think about pulling the back knee straight down toward the floor. Once that becomes easy, try it without the wall. This is the one. The hip flexor is shortened in the vast majority of adults over 50, and because it attaches directly to the lumbar spine, a tight hip flexor pulls the lower back into compression. Every single day. 2 weeks of this and getting out of the car stops being a production. Next up, the one nobody talks about, and the reason your neck and shoulder stretches haven't been working. Thoracic extension. Here's one nobody talks about. You're sitting at a table or a desk or a steering wheel, and slowly, over months and years, your upper back rounds forward. Not dramatically, just a little, then a little more. Until one day someone tags you in a photo and you spend 10 minutes convinced there's been a mistake. That's your thoracic spine. 12 vertebrae that are supposed to rotate and extend. And in most people over 50, they've been locked in one position so long, they've basically handed in their notice. Nobody accepted it. They just stopped coming in anyway. The good news? They'll come back. Vertebrae are surprisingly forgiving. They just needed someone to ask. Most people reach for a foam roller for this. Roll up and down the spine. Spend 5 minutes on it. Feel approximately nothing lasting. The problem is, a foam roller works on the surface, pressure on tissue. This asks the spine to actually move through extension. That's a completely different conversation. Sit on the edge of a chair, feet flat on the floor, hands behind your head, elbows wide. Now gently extend backwards over the chair back. Not a collapse, a controlled arc. Think of opening the front of your chest toward the ceiling. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Come back up slowly. 10 repetitions. Your upper back hasn't felt this acknowledged since 2004. No chair nearby? Stand tall, hands behind your head, elbows wide. Same movement. Works just as well. Slightly more dramatic in a public setting. Worth it. 2 weeks of this and sitting up straight stops requiring effort. Next up, the one that fixes what's been quietly tightening at the very top of all of this. Seated neck, glide plus rotation. You're in a conversation. Someone says something interesting and you turn your head to look at them, and your neck just doesn't go all the way. Not painful, just tight. Like there's a wall about 2/3 of the way through the movement. You smile and nod. Nobody notices. You notice. In 30 years of practice, I have never once had a patient say, "I wish I'd spent more time looking straight ahead." This is the one the loop was about. Here's why it works better than holding a neck stretch for 30 seconds. Static stretching pulls at the muscle. But neck stiffness isn't just muscular. The joints themselves have stopped moving. The glide resets the joint first. Then the rotation asks it to move through its full range. 2 steps, not 1. That's the difference. Sit tall on a chair, feet flat on the floor. First, the glide. Without tilting your head, slide your chin straight back, like you're trying to make a double chin. Nobody looks good doing this. Do it anyway. In fact, the worse it looks, the more you probably need it. Hold for 2 seconds. Release. That's a cervical retraction. It creates space in the joints before you ask them to rotate. Pro tip: do this before a long dinner conversation. Your neck will thank you. Your dinner companion will never know why you're suddenly so attentive. From there, slowly turn your head to one side as far as it comfortably goes. No forcing. Back to center. Other side. 10 repetitions each side. Not much range yet? Start with just the glide for the first few days before adding rotation. Once the rotation feels free, add a gentle 2-second hold at the end of each turn. 2 weeks of this, and turning your head in a conversation stops being something you notice. And that's the whole point. Mobility should be invisible. You shouldn't have to think about it.